it back. If part one was with an industry insider who had tried everything, part two is with someone completely opposite. It's with someone who's never tried any skincare routine. I am joined here by Andrew Fisher, whose remarkable story will leave you guys speechless. Andrew, welcome for being here.
Thank you for having me, Anila.
So, before we get into SKIISKI and your amazing story, can you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
62 years old. I'm outdoors a lot all year round, and I've never had any kind of skincare routine whatsoever.
So, you would say that technically when you're looking and researching for a product, you don't spend a lot of time and you're not one to follow beauty trends?
Not at all.
So then you would say that you're not someone who researches beauty products or follows trends?
No, not at all.
That actually works out great, Andrew, because then when you're part of the trial, your perspective will be new and completely unbiased.
Thanks. I wanted to give it a try.
So let's talk about the clinical trial. How did you hear about the clinical trial?
I think I saw a post on Facebook looking for volunteers to participate in the clinical trial.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, that would normally not be something I do, but I looked around at my blemishes on my hands and forearms and figured, why not give it a try?
Yeah, and I think you also sent me a message saying that because I was in the health and beauty industry.
Yes, I asked about your background, and you gave me your background and your journey, and I felt that very, very sincere about your purpose for this product, and I was looking forward to trying it.
I remember because you were the last person to join, and when you were talking about your imperfections, I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure what kind of results it would give you. And also, at that time, it was my very first clinical trial. So I was very honest with you. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but what happened next is interesting.
Yeah, no, I appreciated your transparency.
Okay, so let's talk about first impressions. What stood out to you, Andrew?
So when I first opened the bottle, I noticed there was no scent, really, maybe a neutral scent. I'm usually very sensitive to fragrances and products. Sometimes I get an allergic reaction, so products that have a strong smell, I don't use them.
I see.
And then also when I applied it, it went on very clean and easy. It wasn't greasy. There was no residue at all, so I wasn't worried about it staining my clothing or furniture at all. I could just spray and go.
I love that. Spray and go. That's definitely what people need nowadays. So as a chemist, when we were formulating this product, that was one of the key points we wanted to touch on, that we wanted a lightweight product that was easily incorporated into daily routine.
Yeah, it was very convenient and easy to use.
Okay, so let's talk about when you first started noticing changes.
Probably around day 3, I thought I noticed some fading and small, blemishes getting smaller.
Day 3, 3 days.
Right.
Oh my God. All right, and then what?
And I wasn't sure if that was just my imagination, but days 4, 5, 6, it was clearly a progression of blemishes getting smaller and fading.
I remember when you sent your photos on the clinical trial, when you uploaded them and I saw them, I was very shocked to see the progression of improvement as well. I was like, wow, for the person who I thought wouldn't see results, that's the quickest results we've seen so far. So by day 6, it was getting better.
Yeah, really. I think I took the photo on day 7, and that was like sealed the deal for me because you could really see.
And how did you feel about your own photos?
Well, it made me realize that it wasn't just like my subjective opinion because I wanted the product to succeed or work, but the photos don't lie. It was, clear improvement.
Right. It's sometimes easier to look and remember things through photos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of my favorite moments about your journey on the SKIISKI trial was actually not even having to do with the trial. Can you tell everyone about the concert?
Oh, yeah, the concert. So, yeah, at some point during the trial, I went to a concert with some friends, and there were 2 women there who were around my age in their 60s, and they said, Andrew, something looks different about you. And I was a little taken aback, and they said, what's changed? And I hadn't mentioned the product to them. or that I was doing a trial, and they eventually commented like my skin looks better. So
Wow. You know what I love about that? I love that because that's completely successful independent feedback. Someone who doesn't even know you were on a trial.
yeah, I mean it was totally out of the blue, and it was on their own, unprompted.
That's awesome. So, Andrew, let's talk about consistency. You were someone who didn't really have a skincare routine. Did being on this trial change anything for you?
Yes, I mean I started. I was conscious about using the product every day, and I had started seeing noticeable results. So I stuck with it throughout the trial and kept taking those photographs. I think every week or 2 weeks.
I think it's very important that as we get older, there's so many natural stressors and environmental factors like the sunshine, the natural weather, and normal process of aging. So using a skincare that you're happy with on a consistent basis really shows you improvement overall.
Yeah, I had personally, I had mostly focused on food, nutrition, and sort of taking care of myself from the inside out, mostly from the inside.
Yeah.
And skin was really the last on my list before trying this.
Andrew, was there anyone, because I'm wondering, like, someone like you doesn't normally come in and be like, I want to try a skincare product. Was there anything that happened in your personal life or anyone in your personal life that maybe influenced you to take better care of your overall skin health?
Well, a few years earlier to this, my father had passed away from skin cancer. And at the time originally, he had been having these Mohs procedures from a dermatologist, just slicing away blemishes. And I was concerned with him because he had so many of them. And eventually he developed a tumor, and I went to the oncologist with him and asked the oncologist what caused this. And she said, radiation. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, a lifetime of exposure to the sun, X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, it all adds up cumulatively over a lifetime. So I thought to myself, what can I do to hopefully avoid something like that?
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, but I'm also glad that it influenced you in a way to take better care of yourself as you get older and understand that it's really important to take care of your skin.
Yep.
So let's talk about something that was completely not result related, but at the same time about the packaging. We remember discussing the spray system, the nozzle, during the
Yes.
trial.
Yes, after a couple of days or weeks, I remember calling you and saying, I noticed the spray nozzle might occasionally clog, and I have a background in plumbing and mechanical work in my career. So I said, I think the holes in the spray nozzle or the hose, it's too small. We have to improve the packaging.
Right. I think it was the natural ingredients in there that were getting clogged up in the nozzle.
Yes, that's what it looked like.
Andrew, and your feedback was so valuable because finding the right packaging took us months of additional research.
It also made me realize how much effort goes into making a successful product, because it wasn't just the liquid inside, but the right bottle as well.
I also remember at one point when we were first discussing on the trial, you had a lot of questions about the ingredients.
Yeah, I tend to be very skeptical and always conscious of everything I eat and put in my body. I read labels all the time. So we had a discussion about what's in the product and your focus on all natural ingredients. Really impressed me, very sincere, and I felt totally comfortable using this.
I do feel that founders need to be extremely transparent with their users of what's inside. I feel like the more we share with our consumers, the more trust we can build with them. So I was really happy that you asked.
Yeah, I felt totally comfortable with it.
Andrew, when you first started using the product, did you believe it was going to work?
No, honestly, I wasn't expecting any results at all, but was pleasantly surprised.
When it first started getting better, did you feel really good about it? Because you weren't into skincare before, so seeing a difference, did it make you feel good?
Yeah, it made me feel like, ooh, this is probably something beyond the trial that I should incorporate into my daily life.
Which means I have you hooked forever, Andrew.
Yes, you do.
You will be a SKIISKI consumer for a long, long time.
Yes.
So what happened when you stopped using the product?
when I stopped using the product, I guess life got busy and I stopped going along with the routine. And first few days, things stayed the same. But after roughly a week to 10 days, I started noticing new blemishes appearing.
I see. And let's clarify on that point that it's new imperfections. For when you're using this product and you stop using it, but you don't change your lifestyle.
Right. I didn't change the light. I didn't see it as something being undone. It was just more of a sign to me that, I do have to stay consistent and use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, how I perceive it is that if you have a certain lifestyle and you're using the product and it's working for you, that's great. If you stop using the product and you do not change your lifestyle, you will continue to get new imperfections.
Yep, that's what we found.
Yeah, which goes back to the same concern that you're stuck forever with SKIISKI.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing about it is that's okay because it's completely natural.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. It was remarkable to see that someone who was not a skincare enthusiast is definitely comfortable with now using skincare and is taking better care of their health.
Thank you for having me here, and I wish you much success with SKIISKI product line.
Thank you so much. Well, everyone, we had two special voices here today. One, we had Anna, who was an industry insider who had tried everything. And then we had Andrew here, who was so skeptical and hadn't tried anything. And both of them walked away with great results from the same exact product. That is SKIISKI for you. If you want to follow more on our journey, please continue to stay with us. We're going to be sharing more stories. We're going to be sharing product insight development and continue discussing skincare, health, and wellness. This was the SKIISKI Podcast. We'll see you next time.